when I speak to them about choices in what people want to study, choices in what people want to work, it's important to think about what do you enjoy in life? What is your purpose in life? What excites you? And that's most likely what you should choose as a career. You should not be following the money incentives, looking for money too early on. Compensation will come later. As long as you enjoy what you do, you can wake up every morning excited to learn more and go to work and contribute, you'll find your career path.
Sobat semua, selamat datang di DuniaPro, podcast untuk profesional dan eksekutif pertama di Indonesia. Hari ini kita kedatangan tamu istimewa, teman saya Gerrit Lambert, Country Director of Epiroc Indonesia. Kita akan ngobrol-ngobrol mengenai beliau, pengalaman beliau di Indonesia, dan mungkin beberapa insight bagaimana menjadi seorang expatriate di Indonesia, dan bagaimana untuk membangun karir Anda. Gerrit, welcome to DuniaPro.
Hello, Henriko. Good afternoon. It's great to be here with you.
Great to be here. Great to be here with you. Yeah. So we'll just have a casual chat, because I've known you for quite some time.
Right.
Yeah, through a friend as well. Yeah. So I understand that you've been in Indonesia for more than 15 years already.
Yes, I've been in Indonesia for 15 years. It's been an exciting journey. I've seen so many great things happen in the country. It's quite amazing, to be honest. So I'm sure we'll talk more about that in the next 45 minutes. It's going to be exciting.
Sure. Can you share with me, what do you do, Gerrit?
So currently I'm with Epiroc. Epiroc is a Swedish company. We're actually a startup with a very long 180-year history. We used to be part of the Atlas Copco group, and we split from the group 6 years ago. And now we're an independently listed company in Sweden. Swedish roots, Swedish heritage, focusing on production of mining equipment and services.
Mining is a big industry in Indonesia, I suppose, yeah?
It's a substantial industry in Indonesia, so it's a very attractive market for us, that's for sure.
Okay. How big is your industry, in terms of market size in Indonesia? Let's say if we talk about the mining equipment, for example, and the peripherals, the software, the spare parts and services business,
the mining industry in Indonesia is huge. All right. If I'm not mistaken, it's the third largest coal producer in the world. For nickel, we're the biggest ones by far. All right. Copper and gold are also substantial commodities. So the market for mining equipment and services in Indonesia is substantial. It's a similar market size to Brazil, for example. So it's a huge and very, very attractive market. There's a lot of big players here, a lot of big local players as well. So it's definitely a very large and attractive market for us.
I'm sure there will be plenty of competition in Indonesia. All the multinationals, be it from Europe, from USA, or from China even, How do you manage and navigate, through the intense competition, especially when it comes to pricing, service, etc.?
In the mining industry, the price is not the first driving factor. The driving factors are production volumes. Miners want to be certain that they can produce, so that assurance that they can produce the volume is most important, right? They want assurance. We as equipment manufacturers, so we look at equipment quality that lasts a certain lifetime. We provide services on site. We have our own mechanics in the field as well, which service the equipment. They ensure the uptime is there. So we can assure the customer that they can produce a ton of coal or a ton of gold ore for the lowest price possible. So the initial investment is actually only a very small portion of the customer's investment. It's the initial investment, it's the upkeep of the equipment, it's the running costs. These are the bigger factors, actually. And how you compete in the mining industry is on quality of service. And it's not only the equipment these days, it goes even further for digital solutions, for example. How can you leverage technology to be more efficient and how to be more safe? So those are also very, very big factors. You have mining equipment is a dangerous environment, right? So you have operators and people around the site which are in danger as such, right? It's you have to be very, very cautious and careful. So safety is a big factor. For example, we offer autonomous solutions or remote control solutions where operators do not have to be inside the machines. We can operate the machines remotely or even autonomously. So that's pretty exciting solutions that we can offer there for enhanced safety, for example.
Okay. So some sort of remote controlled, environment.
That is correct.
Yeah.
The machines would operate out in the field, maybe close by, maybe a kilometer away, maybe 500 kilometers away. And a team of people would be in a room like this, and they would control the machines through a joystick and a video screen.
Okay. You're talking about some of the software solutions as well. Can you tell me more about it?
So for software solutions, there's a multitude. There's software solutions for machines to make maintenance of the machines more easily. There's different devices that we can put in the machine to monitor the machine performance, to monitor the machine health, to make sure that we service the machines proactively before they actually break down. We can monitor a whole fleet where we can automate the fleet and run them without operators. We can tell the operators to drive from A to B or drill in this or that location, to let machines make the decisions or artificial intelligence make the decisions that ends up being much more productive, much more safe. We even have complete solutions to install Wi-Fi in the whole mining site on surface solution or also underground, for example. So there's so many different solutions actually that we can offer to make the miner's job easier.
Excellent. And you've worked with another Swedish multinational before this, yeah?
Yes, previously I was with the Volvo Group, also in Indonesia.
Okay. In terms of the size of the company that you're managing at the moment, in terms of number of workforce under you, how many?
At the moment, I actually handle the southern side of Southeast Asia, which includes Indonesia, Philippines, Malaysia, and Singapore. In this area, we have close to 700 people operating in these countries. We're active on around 50 sites across these countries where we have people, parts, and machines on site. So it's quite a wide scope.
Any tips on how to manage people remotely in other countries? How to make sure, that they stay productive and efficient?
That's a very interesting question, actually, Henriko. I mean, all of us were put into that position in 2020, early 2020, when COVID-19 hit us. We were all in the office before, and then suddenly from one day to the next, we had to manage remotely. And to manage remotely is vastly different. You need to be able to build a relationship and build trust in an online setting, which is very different. You and I, we're talking today, we see each other, we're very comfortable, right? If this was online, it would be very different. So you need to ensure that the communication is very concise online, that the verbal cues are not misunderstood. You need to keep closer contact with your team members, both in a group setting and also one-on-one, to ensure that the trust is there and that the needs of the team members are also met. Some team members, obviously, they will speak up. Some will not, right? But it's our job as leaders to make sure that we take care of our team. So online settings, remote management of teams is challenging. That's for sure. It's not an easy job.
And it is interesting that they have you as a regional manager in Indonesia. Is that because of Indonesia's position as one of the largest mining-centric industries in the region?
Yes, certainly. I mean, that's a very unique proposition. For me, it's the right decision. Indonesia is the biggest mining country in the region, so naturally the head office for the region must be here.
Talking about the sales process, Gerrit, how long does it typically for you, to close one deal?
We offer a multitude of different types of capital goods, machines, parts, services, and also digital solutions. Of course, the sales process for parts is, let's say, relatively shorter, whereas for capital goods, the sales process can be anywhere from 3 years up to 6 months. It's a very, very long cycle. The miners, especially for underground mining, they conduct long-term planning. They must get government licenses. They must get local approval to conduct the mining activities. They have their mining plan. So we're talking about quite long sales cycles, actually. And we need to be close to customers in every single stage of the sales cycle.
Are the customers loyal in this industry, or is it very difficult for you to convert them into your equipment?
Once the customers utilize our equipment and services, they're very loyal. However, to convert a customer that does not use our brand, that's a challenge. The relationship between our customers and us runs very, very deep. We have people on their site running 24 hours. The customers trust us that the machines are running optimally, that the customers can produce. And it's a relationship based on trust from both parties. And this is built over a very long period, because the customers is not buying a machine. They're buying a production tool that is to be used over the next 5 to 10 years. And they trust us that this machine will be operating effectively over that time frame.
Okay.
And we're there to keep the machine running across that life cycle. We do machine rebuilds, for example. After 5 years, the machine will be rebuilt to scratch, from scratch. And then it will run for another 5 years. So it's a very, very long cycle.
Sorry, what do you mean by rebuild?
It's like a car, right? Like your antique cars. All right. So after 5 years, the machine will be quite heavily used. We will strip the machine. We will open all the components.
Okay.
We will change the inner parts from the components.
Okay.
And make the machine as new again.
Okay.
As new. And that investment cost will be substantially less than the customer buying a new equipment.
Right. Okay. I'm intrigued to hear more about how you convert price-sensitive customers, because what you're selling, in your current company, in your previous company, are high quality, but also high in price items, basically. How do you do that? How do you convert, customers who always look at price as their main criteria?
So the price, the initial investment, is only a very small portion of the customer's investment. The higher cost is happening through the use of the machine. For example, through fuel consumption, through parts that the machine is utilizing, and how long the machine will last. So when we talk to customers, we often talk about lifetime cost. How much will this machine cost you over a period of 5 or 10 years?
I see.
How much will it cost you as a customer to produce 1 ton of coal?
I see.
So we convert it back to the customer's benefit, so that the customer knows exactly, I will be spending this much.
Interesting.
Over the course of the machine. So of course there are lower cost solutions available, no doubt, right?
Okay.
But the question is, are these machines going to last 10 years?
Okay.
Are they going to produce 24 hours a day?
Okay.
Effectively?
Okay.
That's the big question.
Okay. Do you deal with business owners directly, or mostly executives?
We deal with a big multitude of companies, right? So of course in Indonesia you have the big state-owned miners, right? You have the big corporate miners as well, and then you have the family-owned miners. So there's a large variety of customers and mining companies here, and we deal with all of them.
Okay.
And I must say the mining industry in Indonesia has become very professional.
Okay.
Has become world class. When I bring colleagues from overseas to visit mine sites in Indonesia, they're always astonished.
Okay.
They're always, wow, this is like professional, very safe, world-class operations, right?
Okay.
The level at which they operate is really, really good.
Okay. Okay. Is it in terms of safety, or is it in terms of the what do you call it in terms of the productivity? Or is it something else that impressed your international colleagues?
Certainly, safety is definitely on the forefront in mining. So safety is a big factor, which is done very well. Then, of course, effective operations to run the operation efficiently, and also to find local solutions to problems. Every country, every mining site is quite unique. So you do need to be flexible. You do need to be innovative. And the local teams here, they're always very flexible. They can find local solution to problems when machines break, for example. So that's quite interesting to see.
Okay. What is your thought about the quality of human resources, within your industry, compared to other countries in Asia?
Well, the human resources side, the professional development, as I mentioned, has seen great development in Indonesia. If you go back 15, 20 years, you'll know that there were a lot of expat miners in the country supporting all the different mining operations. Since then, that foreign workforce has come down dramatically. And the reason why it's come down is because the local workforce upskilled dramatically. They learned so much. So now the local workforce can work independently on the right level. And even now it's gone that far that Australia is looking for miners, and they're looking at Indonesia. They're looking at the Philippines. And we have colleagues, we have several people moving across to Australia to work there, to offer their services. So the quality level, the professionalism is certainly there.
Okay. But Australia is considered as one of the most advanced in terms of mining industry in the world. Does that mean that they are in shortage of qualified people, that they have to go outside of Australia, or is it because of the skills are more widely available here?
Australia has been in a deficit of workforce in the mining field for the last couple of years. So they do require a lot of workforce actually in that sector.
Okay.
So they're actively looking at countries where they can acquire these resources.
Okay. Is it mainly within coal mining industry or in minerals as well?
In mineral mining as well. Okay. It's across the board.
Okay. Interesting. Okay. Now, I find that it is interesting that you're German by nationality, but you went to Australia to complete your bachelor and master's degree.
Right.
Any specific reason behind that?
Australia is very well known for a great education background. It's a very international country. They offer great education. They have a good reputation as well. So that's why I decided to complete my studies in Australia at that point in time. That was a wise choice. Back then, all the students, they came from so many different countries. I made friends from Indonesia at that time as well, which I still know today. So that was interesting to be part of a campus, to be part of a community where students come from across the world to study and learn together. It was a great experience.
Was international career always something that in the card for you? Because you can always study in German, and as far as I know, it's free, And then you chose to go to Australia, and I'm going for a fully paid tuition, does it have something to do with international career plan?
Certainly, right, Henriko. That's one big point. I studied international business, so that's a field that is quite common in Australia. And I was always interested to work internationally. That was one factor that led me to that.
Okay. And then, if I'm not mistaken, you work in China.
Yes.
Yeah. Why didn't you work in Australia at the time?
I always wanted to work overseas in different countries.
Okay.
The China opportunity came up. At that point in time, that was early 2000s, so that's some years ago already. Back then, China was in a growth phase, growing considerably. They were building roads, building schools. The whole country was in a huge upswing. It was a quite exciting time to be there. Shanghai, they used to have 2 metro lines. Now they have, I think, 20. All right. And they started building high rises across the whole country. It was really an exciting time to be there at that time.
How did you land yourself a job in China at the time?
Actually, I started my career in heavy equipment with a company called Ingersoll Rand. It's an American conglomerate. So I started with them in Germany. They were producing road machinery over there. I stayed there for a couple of years, and then the opportunity for China came up, which I took. So they basically asked me to move across to China and take care of their business over there.
Oh, you started with Ingersoll Rand in Australia?
In Germany, actually.
Oh, in Germany, I see.
Yes.
Okay. Interesting. Okay. Yeah. And how did you end up working in Indonesia after China?
During my time in China, I was there for 4 or 5 years. I was contacted by a company in Indonesia to lead their business in Indonesia. So I decided to take that opportunity and move across to Indonesia at that time. I knew Indonesia. I was here before. Yes, I was excited, right? And
the rest is history.
And the rest is history. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so since then, I've been here 15 years since then, right?
Okay.
With the company that I joined when I came to Indonesia first, I was with them for 7 years. It's a spare parts bearing distribution company, AKG. So I was heading up their operation for Southeast Asia at that time. And then after 7 years with that company, Volvo called me to join their organization.
Okay.
So that was actually exciting, and because I recall my time in China in early 2000, where the country was growing so strongly and so substantially. What Indonesia is going through now for the past, let's say, 8 years, is very similar to what China went through in the early 2000s. Indonesia has been growing GDP-wise 5 to 6% consistently for the past 8 years, right? A positive balance of payments. You see Jakarta changing so much. The population is so hungry to learn and grow, and it's got the same kind of feeling to it now. So it's exciting to be part of that journey, to be honest.
Right. What's your key success in adapting to different cultures?
To adapt to different cultures, from my point of view, it's very important to be humble, to listen very, very carefully, but also to listen between the lines. Yes may not always mean yes, and no may not always mean no. So it's important to look at the body language, the cues, read between the lines, be humble and willing to learn, and be willing to adapt.
Okay.
Those are some key factors, and we can't forget that we as a foreigner here, we're in a foreign country, and it's our onus to adapt at the end with the guests. We need to adapt.
Okay.
You know.
Okay.
This is what we need to do. So we need to learn, right? We can share our knowledge, no problem, but we definitely need to learn.
Okay.
And yeah, it takes time, right? It's a time investment.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. How do you see the evolution or the development of the quality of human resources in Indonesia over the years? How do you see them compared to 15 years ago when you first arrived in the country?
The most obvious one, of course, is English language, right? Back then, English language was not all that common. These days, English is very common. Most people, or many people, can speak English. I see the population is very hungry for knowledge. They're very hungry and excited to learn new things. And yeah, they're really willing and very happy to work and to contribute, actually. That's what I find very positive. Everybody's also, if you have the right relationship, willing to provide ideas, to collaborate, to do things better. So for me, I've seen a lot of positive changes through the years.
Do you find people openly disagree with you on certain issues, work-related, obviously?
Right. That's a good question. That kind of relationship or trust needs to be built over time. It's not a given, right? So I feel that those types of areas, they will be built over time, so that there's a level of trust that everybody's willing to speak up. At Epiroc, actually, we have a speak up culture where we expect all the team members to speak up and speak their opinion openly, without the fear of being criticized or feeling retaliation, for example. So it's a very open and positive environment, which helps that as well.
Do you encourage after office hour gathering, dinner together or lunch together, or you keep it, pretty much, limited to working hour relationship?
That's a very good point. So, of course, in Indonesia, interpersonal relationships are very important. So we do spend we spend time at work naturally, but we also do after work activities. So, of course, we will go for dinners. We will do sports activities together. Sometimes we sing karaoke as well. We will do activities outside of work as well. And that's a good way to actually bond outside the work environment. That's where you really get to know people on a personal level. And if you create those relationships and nurture them over time with these types of activities, work becomes a lot easier.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. How do you rate the productivity of the people here in this country compared to other countries?
For me, the productivity has increased greatly. And now I must say there is not much difference. We're definitely on par. The workforce here, everybody, the whole team members, right? The whole country, they're really willing to work, right? They're really willing to put in the time. They're eager to learn, and that makes a huge difference, right?
Okay.
That willingness to contribute. So productivity, we're on par for sure.
Right. Okay. What has been the most difficult positions to fill, based on your experience?
All positions, let's say they're challenging to fill. It's always about the cultural fit. Do the people fit into our company? Can we find a positive way of working in the future? So that cultural fit is important. the second important factor is motivation. Why should we work together? And that why we work together is not a question of compensation.
Okay.
All right. It's like, do you enjoy to work here? Do you like the purpose of the company? You know?
Right. Okay. Okay. How has your experience, working, in so many different countries, how has that, impact, your outlook, when it comes to managing people?
At the end, we need to lead our team, no matter what country, right? Of course, there's cultural differences, how you should and should not act. Those are unique factors, all right? But at the end, in leadership, it's important to make sure that you find a way for your team to succeed. Your job as a leader is to make sure that you create the environment so that your team is set up for success.
Okay.
And let your team grow, let your team develop, and support them.
Okay.
And that is not all that different in different countries.
Okay. Okay.
Of course, how you communicate, how you say something might be different from country to country. In some countries, you can be more direct. In some countries, you need to be less. You need to be less direct.
Right. Okay. Okay. What makes you stay in Indonesia for 15 years?
It's a very good question. What makes me stay here is that the people are super nice, super kind. I really enjoy that. Everybody has a very positive outlook. I love the food, right? Naturally, this is also super important. And for me, of course, career development in the country, in Indonesia, has been very positive. The country's always provided me good opportunities. So, of course, I enjoy to stay here and give back to the country as well.
Okay.
Those are, the main factors why I've continued to stay here so long.
Okay. And I suppose that you have kind of, built yourself, your own community, your own network in a country.
Certainly. I have a network of friends, acquaintances, business partners. That's very important, right? You need to have a sounding board outside of work. Friends, acquaintances with whom you can connect and be yourself, right? Where you have your home ground, let's say.
What are some of the things that still so-called frustrate you about working in Indonesia?
For me, I wouldn't say frustrate. There is challenges that we need to overcome, and I take that positively. So, of course, we need to continue to be more efficient. We need to bring new technologies to the country. So there's always opportunities to do more. But that's also our job as leaders. If we see an opportunity for improvement, then we must try and address that.
Okay. Okay.
But I've been in many countries around this world. I've worked in many, many different countries. And what I've found is that there is not one country which is better than another. It doesn't exist in my point of view. Every country is different. Every nation has positive sides. So wherever I go, I like to look at the positive side. This is the way I like to look at things.
Okay. 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 What are some of the German values that you still retain?
All right. That's a good question. So, of course, the Germans are always known for efficiency, for being accurate, for being timely. So these are some of the traits I certainly try to retain in myself, and those are also some of the traits I try to instill into the daily work as well.
How do you disseminate that among your people?
Yeah, we do a lot of communication internally to try and instill those factors. So we do a lot of data-driven work, data-driven decisions, for example. We ensure that we deliver the commitments to our customers on time. We look at problems openly, right? If something goes wrong, we look at the root cause. We see what is the corrective action. So we utilize those traits on a daily basis. But of course, in Indonesia, you also need to be flexible. On one hand, you need to be timely, yes, but we also have the jam karet. I've heard of this before, right? So we do need to have that flexibility as well.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
But I actually enjoy that, right? It's not so rigid, right?
Yeah.
You know, if you come late for a couple of minutes, nothing's going to happen, right?
Right. Okay. What is your message, for the international investors or executives, who are contemplating of investing in Indonesia or to move to Indonesia as an expatriate? What are some of the myths, that you want to kind of, clarify, or explain to them?
So the first one, of course, is Indonesia is a really attractive country to do business and to come and invest. Close to 300 inhabitants. It's a growing economy, a huge middle class. So it's an attractive country to actually, come and invest, as I said. Of course, when companies come here and invest here, or you move to this country, you need to invest here for the long run. It's going to be a journey, and the benefit and the return will come over time. So you definitely need to adapt. You need to listen. You need to learn, and you need to adapt and do things the local way. You can't copy and paste things as you do overseas. Of course, the Indonesia has also been improving the stability. The political stability is definitely there, right? The business processes, business licensing has also improved greatly over the years. It's become a lot more efficient, and certainly you do need to do things by the book as well. You need to follow the process, need to follow the rules. So it's definitely attractive if you come here, invest for the long run, and it can be very attractive.
Okay. What's your comment about some of the perception about the bureaucracies, the red tape, and about those, not so positive image about Indonesia?
I think the red tape is often a bit misunderstood. Indonesia, as such, has come a long way in the development. The policies, the processes from the government, they've actually been implemented quite quickly over the course of the years, and they're not fully mature yet, some of them. So, of course, they need time to improve, to increase the efficiency. Whereas all the rules have been put in for a very good reason. So, of course, the rules are positive in that sense, and we need to comply with them. It's important to, take time with the rules. We do need to comply, but if you get the right consultants in place, they can guide the way through for you. That's for sure.
What about the perception about the quality of the human resources? Like, would you recommend your company to, let's say, set up R&D facility in Indonesia?
There's certainly opportunities for that, for R&D centers in the country. That's definitely possible.
So you don't only see Indonesia as a mere market, but also could potentially be a center of innovation as well.
Certainly. Especially in the IT and the high tech sector, there's definitely a lot of opportunities here. I mean, we see all the unicorns. Gojek is the very famous unicorn. So there's definitely potential here to develop more and also do R&D and innovation.
Okay. Last question, Gerrit. You've been an expatriate, for almost your entire career. Do you have any suggestions or recommendations, for young Indonesians who aspire, want to have, your kind of life experience?
All right. For that one, certainly, I speak to a lot of young people, right? When I speak to them about choices in what people want to study, choices in what people want to work, it's important to think about, what do you enjoy in life? What is your purpose in life? What excites you? And that's most likely what you should choose as a career. You should not be following the money incentives, looking for money too early on. Compensation will come later. As long as you enjoy what you do, you can wake up every morning excited to learn more and go to work and contribute, you'll find your career path over the years. So do what you enjoy is super important. Then, of course, as you go through your career, you need to continue to invest in education and learning. The learning never finishes. It always continues, So be open for ideas, be open for innovation. So those are a couple of the things that I would recommend for young people coming up through the careers.
Is there any specific, path, or information access, to be able to, getting access, to international career opportunities?
I mean, we at Epiroc, for example, we allow or we like to provide all our employees globally to work or apply for jobs anywhere in the company.
Interesting.
We have Indonesian colleagues working in other countries. We have Filipino colleagues working in Australia. So our internal job portal is totally open. And any employee can apply for any job in the whole world, and that's very open, right? And we actually actively ask them to do so.
Okay.
Because we believe that through diversity, the company will grow and will benefit a lot. We also actually actively try to promote diversity, female engineers working for us. That's another factor. So it's definitely there. There's definitely opportunities for the local talent to work overseas.
And it's open for everybody.
It's open for everybody. Yes,
as long as you are performing.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
That's of course a given.
Thanks, Gerrit.
Thank you, Henriko.
Really nice talking to you. Appreciate your presence here. Very insightful. Thank you.
It's a pleasure.
Yeah. Look forward to stay in touch with you.
Likewise. Thank you.
Sobat DuniaPro, bersama dengan Gerrit Lambert, silakan like, subscribe, and share DuniaPro, dan tonton sampai selesai. Sampai jumpa lagi dalam episode yang lain. Terima kasih.